Okay, so now we are moving on to quadrant three, the supporting information quadrant. And really both the supporting information quadrant and the program materials quadrant, which would come next, are relatively quick fills. So first would be including any applicable employment. I'm going to add an experience for now. I actually don't mind if you skip over this section for the most part because we have you submit a resume in the next quadrant. So do not feel like you necessarily have to do this, but it couldn't hurt just in case you did decide you want to maybe move your application to another program. You would have all of this information in one place for the future. Okay, so I'm just including just the generic information for now, just to move quickly through this. But you could basically see that all it would really ask is where you worked. You could even skip over including your supervisor information if you wanted to. A reason why you may want to fill out this section is, let's say you were using an employer as one of your references for this program. It would not hurt you to include that supervisor's information here just as a backup, just in case we can't find that information in the future. I could quickly log into the system, find your supervisor's information, and give them a call for reference if needed. Okay, but requirements do include more basic things like when you started, when you finished. So for the sake of this, I'm just going to really quickly make up when I've worked here from. Okay, and then full-time, part-time, relatively important. We don't really discriminate based on or even really admit anybody based on necessarily all of their work experience. It can be of assistance to your overall application in terms of making the case, but we have plenty of students who are fresh out of college, coming in straight to their master's degrees, who don't feel that you need to have some very extensive work background. Okay, so you would include your title as given. It's obviously quite long, as you can see. And then this is really great for those who've got maybe student work experience. At our institution, we use service learning as a way to earn academic credit. So you could absolutely include that as a received academic credit type thing. Or if it did both, you could include both. Okay, so then your average weekly hours times whatever weeks there are in a year, give us those. And then you could include your description of key responsibilities. I'm just obviously making up a short sentence here, but you have about 600 characters to work with in that box. Okay. And then release authorization is what we would need if you want to use this as a backup for contact information for a potential reference. So I would recommend using yes. We're really not going to contact your place of business unless we absolutely needed to. So there's really no harm in selecting the yes button here. Okay. So that's essentially what this section is. I missed something as is custom, missed the current experience box up there. So just be careful as you're moving through these things. You don't want to do what I'm doing and miss a box here or there. So you can add as many of these as you need to. Once again, I really don't feel that you need to unless you want to use this as a way to back up whoever your references are. Okay. Achievements, really a weird section. Anything could fit technically in the achievement box. I would really, in my recommendation, include this for academic achievements, or maybe great community achievements that aren't necessarily work experience type things. You can go ahead and fill out this section if you want to. You can see, since this is a bit of an interesting thing, there's really only academic achievements in here. So if you want to include something that was maybe not an academic achievement, let's say you received a community award, then you might want to select award, but most of these are going to be more for scholarly work that folks have done, presentations and publications. Maybe you received a really rare scholarship or a rare academic honor. You could include it in the section. Not terribly relevant, so I'm going to personally skip this one just because I don't think it's something that for me would be relevant if I was applying. And if that was the case for you, just add I'm not adding any achievements. Once again, totally fine to do so. Okay. Documents for this is completely unnecessary. I would skip this section in the in this particular quadrant. There's going to be another document quadrant that will come up. That's when this would be more important. This is really more for undergraduates. So go ahead and just skip this. I'm not adding any documents. And also the statement of purpose, I would technically skip here. You don't need to fill this out here. Unfortunately, there's no way for you to technically skip it. So if you want to skip it in this box and include it with your other program documents, which will be in the next quadrant, you can just type that right in. I am including my statement of purpose with my other program documents. And that way we'll know where to find it. Okay, so this section should be very, very fast unless you want to fill out some of the information if you feel like it will help you. Once again, that might be most relevant for those who are in need of help, maybe based on some GPA issues and things of that nature. You could use that section to back you up. Otherwise, the supporting information will be a very, very fast section for you to fill out.